Church never felt so good. Go ahead, give it up. Give it up for the band. Please welcome John Jones and Robert James Lopez to sing for us this morning. Please stand as we sing together our wonderful opening song. a signature to our community. It's entitled Grateful, and the lyrics are available right there for you. Join us.
I am grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we made. I am grateful, all the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we made. I am grateful, all the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful, grateful for this day, for the
Go ahead and put your hands together. Come on.
the life we made. I am grateful,
I know you're thankful.
all the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we made. And I am grateful, all the many ways that the love of God appears. Yes, the love of God is here. Good morning, everyone. My name is David Aurelio. I am the Executive Director of this beautiful Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. Our beloved Reverend Dr. David Alt is doing good work across the globe in Cambodia. So we wish him well. I know he's watching via the live stream. Just to let all of you know updates, I know he's been keeping in touch with me via email, but many of you know that one of our congregants passed away last year and made her transition. That was Marcia Briscoe. And one of the things that they did to honor her was many of her friends and some of the community donated for a well to be dug in her honor, a freshwater well for families there that they could drink water. So David said they dug the well the first day that they were there, and it was very emotional, but it's great to know that Marcia lives on and doing great things that she always did across the globe. And we thank Reverend Alt for making that happen as well. So welcome to each and every one of you. Thank you for spending the day with us. We are, if you're not familiar with who we are, we're a center that recognizes everyone on their spiritual path, and we hope to be a place of great inspiration, thus allowing you to tap into your inherent greatness and to live the life you love. So we do that in so many ways. It's more than what you just see on Sundays. Lots of stuff happens throughout the month. It's usually in your program in the insert, which it still is, but we're almost through the month, so just listen to me, and you don't have to worry about reading that. So again, we've got classes that started in January. They've been going gangbusters live here at the center. We're continuing with classes with Reverend David that start in March, and then other classes that start and going on into April. So if you have not looked at the brochure for the live classes, I encourage you to do so. It's out at the table of wall, the visitor's welcome table. Please look at that and see if there's any classes that speak to you, because we'd love to have you get registered as soon as possible so we can look at all the materials that we need to get in place. In addition, we've got online classes and 2 new online classes that are starting this month. So to give us our weekly update, the beautiful Tracy Owens.
Good morning, everybody. As David said, we have 2 brand new classes starting next Sunday, February the 1st. Before I jump into those, I would just want to say thank you. Thank you to for the registrations so far. Thank you for the blog visits, the visits on the website, and the sharing of the blog post. It's really, really exciting to see all of the amazing writers and authors that we have on our SLI website, that's spirituallivinginstitute.org. The 2 classes that are launching next Sunday, February the 1st, one of them is Jeff Seeley. He's offering a course called Unlock Your Greatness. This is a 4-week-long course, and during this course, Jeffon will provide us with step-by-step processes to not only uncover the seed of greatness within us all, but also provide us with essential tools needed to transform and revolutionize our life into an experience that reflects our true divinity. Another course that's going to be offered next month is Dr. Will Coleman is offering a 4-week course called The Genesis of Your Metaphysical Mental Creation. In this course, Dr. Will is going to talk to us about the Hebrew alphabet and having the Hebrew alphabet having 4 levels of meaning. Every letter has a specific shape, sound, image, and number. We're going to be able to see how to use these ideas to increase our own intentions, thoughts, speech, and actions. He will show us how through both Hebrew and English symbols, as well as meditation techniques. Both of these courses are really, really amazing courses. I encourage you to sign up and participate. Rather than me telling you more about the courses, what I want to do is I want to invite a participant up to tell us a little bit about his experience with SLI. Daniel Eldridge, please join us.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. I have done online courses before, and I got to let you know I'm taking 2 of them here that I've already started. And my experience of being in an online program is, first of all, I can do it anytime because I'm on my computer. But even more importantly, I have an experience of connecting with people in the community who I wouldn't otherwise know, including all over the world. And as a relatively new person here in Atlanta, some of them I have here, some folks I meet online, and the depth of sharing, the sense of community we're creating is extraordinary. And if you have any inkling that says, well, maybe I should check it out, I don't know about online, I like in person, check out online. Really, this is really good stuff, and it helps me every morning just to have that reinforcement that coming here is great, but every morning I get it online. So I encourage you to be part of this group, and you can ask me any questions after the service if you like, and I'm happy to be there for you. Thanks.
Thank you. So as Daniel said, this is asynchronous learning, so it's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you travel for work, these are courses for you. You can access this material. There's no set time for courses for the class. Want to let you know that the cost for each course is $160. That's equivalent to about $40 a week. So just as you're budgeting and you're planning, you can register today in person, or you can register online, spirituallivinginstitute.org. And if you have a desire to give the gift of consciousness to a friend or a loved one, there's gift certificates available today. Thank you so much. I'll see you in class.
Thank you, Tracy. Wise Women, Women in Spirituality Evolving. You have your monthly meeting today in the small classroom, so please join us for that. And then also tomorrow night, we got a great opportunity, the Caregiver Support Group. I mentioned this last week. Again, the Caregiver Support Group meets here, once a month. This month, they're doing it at the end of the month on the 26th, so tomorrow night at 7 p.m., and they're doing a special presentation called Aging Options. And the Caregiver Support Group leader, Teresa Pilage, wanted me to let you know that you're going to walk through the maze of what we call elder care. So those of us that are dealing with older parents and being the caregiver for them at times, please, this is an opportunity for all of us to kind of get some information. She's been a geriatric social worker for the last 25 years, and she's worked with families and seniors for that amount of time. Teresa will help us formulate a game plan for you and your loved one. She'll discuss housing options, home care resources, government-sponsored programs, and so much more. And believe me, it's confusing. And so for somebody to help me guide us through, it's awesome. You'll leave with a feeling of sense of relief and direction. Please see us tomorrow night at 7 p.m. right here in the boardroom, or it might be in a classroom if we need to make that a bigger space. So we'll welcome you all at that. The John of God Crystal Bed is returning in the month of February 6th through the 9th. There's flyers out on the wall if you're interested in that experience. And there's stuff happening with the choir. What's going on?
The choir. I see you out here singing. I do. Singers love to sing. Will you say that with me? Singers love to sing. I know you do. You didn't plan. I didn't plan that, but anyway, I want to invite you. We've had a good time already this month. We had a visioning workshop with Baji Daniels, a wonderful practitioner, and then we had a vocal workshop with John Jones and a webinar with Will Downing and Layla Hathaway and Phil Perry. So we're hot. We're ready to go. So we invite you to join us every Tuesday night at 7. Our choir meets, and we meet in this room, and we'd love to have you. So if you are a singer who loves to sing, come and join us and be a part of our community. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Did you say, was that Phil Perry? Or I thought you said Steve Perry. I was like, Lord, all right.
There you go.
The choirs, what journey. All right. So on February the 8th, coming up, is again, Centers for Spiritual Living requires that each center every year do an annual meeting. Our annual meeting is going to be on February the 8th after the second service. We invite you all to join in on that. To tell us more about that is the president of the board, Lee Valentine.
Thank you, David. You know, sitting here listening to the announcements, I realized we have a wise women's group, but we don't have a wise men's group. Is that because there are no wise men here? We can ponder that question for the remainder of the day. But as David said, we have a very important meeting coming up 2 weeks from today, February 8th, after second service. And much like we had the State of the Union address last week, this you can think of as our State of the Center address, although without all of the pomp and circumstance. So no need for the Republicans on one side and the Democrats on the other, although you are welcome to sit that way if you like. And not all of the standing ovations and the pounding of the gavel and all that. But in all seriousness, we will give you an update on some of our plans for 2015 that the board has come up with. We will vote. We will have a couple of very important votes. We will vote on the approval of our 2015 budget. We will vote on the approval of some proposed changes to our bylaws. And this is something that we haven't done in a very long time. Actually, I'm not sure if we've done it, if we've ever updated or amended our bylaws since they were initially chartered in 1979. And out at one of the tables in the lobby, we have a binder that has a one-page summary of all of the changes to those bylaws. Some of them are very administrative in nature. For example, replacing any references to Religious Science International with our new parent organization, Centers for Spiritual Living. Some of them are guidelines to kind of bring our operations more in line with what's documented in the bylaws. So I encourage you to take a look at that. We have, like I said, a one-page summary, but we also have all of the detail if you're interested in seeing paragraph by paragraph what we're proposing to change. And in addition to that, we are accepting nominations for 3 open board positions. So we have openings for 3 new board members, and we are encouraging members of our community who meet the criteria to either submit their own names for nomination, or if you know someone who you think would be qualified, we welcome you. And there are some very specific criteria that you have to meet in order to qualify, but the very general ones that I would put in my opinion are you have to have a good familiarity with our teaching, which I would gather that everyone here today probably does. And secondly, just have to have a passion for wanting to see SLCA move forward. So hope to see you on February 8th, 2 weeks from today, for the annual meeting. And if you have any questions about the open board positions, the criteria, the responsibilities, or the bylaws amendments, you can see the folks at the table in the lobby. Thank you.
Very much. Also, many groups have, as we started the new year, have either resurfaced and are starting off their goals for the next year. And then some of the groups are reformatting and coming up with a different structure and a different strategy as we go into the new year. And one of those groups is our LGBT group. So I want to introduce you to the 2 new chairs. We've got Scott LaSalle and Sue Mormon are now the co-leaders of the LGBT group. And they've got something they want to let us know about that.
Okay, what is LGBT? Many of you probably know, but if that's a new term for you, what is it?
Lesbian,
Gay.
bisexual,
Transgendered.
and other, apparently.
Well, we decided not to stop there. We're an inclusive group. So one of the things, we have an LGBTO group, although, it's evolved even since this morning. The O is not other, it's oneness. So whoever you are sitting in this room, you are part of this collective entity. We're going to be doing more. We're going to have a lot of fun. There'll be some social events. There'll be some education and support type of activities. We'll do some civic community service, giving back to the community. We've talked about working with some of the homeless youth in the community that need our help, people with HIV, all sorts of groups that continue to need our love and support. We want to be able to be there for them. So we have a lot of cool stuff coming up. I want to just share with you briefly why I decided to step forward and be a co-facilitator. It's because of some of the people in this room. And last Gay Pride, we've always done Gay Pride for a few years now with parades and floats, and it's all good. But we wanted to do more, Sue and I and some other folks. And I was really struck in this last Gay Pride. The parade was cool, the float was wonderful, but I was most touched by the people that showed up in the booth when I volunteered. I was in the minority. I'm a gay man, and I was surrounded by my very beloved heterosexual dear friends and family that were there showing up to be of service. And some of you are in the room today, and I'm looking at you right now. Thank you very much. We appreciate your support. It touched me personally, and it's time to give back, Sue. So how are we going to do it?
So out in the lobby there is a sign-up sheet, and there's 4 of them. So please sign up if you'd like to be part of this group. Our first gathering is going to be February 28th. It's a Saturday evening at 7 a.m. or 7 p.m. Yeah, it would be a very small group at 7 a.m. at 7 p.m. And Lane Morgan and Becky Booth have so graciously offered their home for that first event. And it's a way for us to get together, meet each other, and also come up with a name and talk about the different things that we'd like to be part of. As Scott said, we've always been part of Pride. The Human Rights Campaign is in May. It'd be nice to be part of that community. So that's really what that evening is going to be about, just meeting each other and coming up with what we would like this group to be. So if you sign up on the sheet, you're giving your name, email, and phone number, and we will email you the details as we get closer, where they live, etc. And after this service, Scott will be out in the lobby to answer any questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hope to see you.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you so much. Now, next Sunday is February the 1st. Super Bowl Sunday. I know all of you are thinking about that, but there's more that's going on with that. That's actually the kickoff for the season for Peace and Nonviolence. So that will be something we will kick off next week. In addition, it's the beginning of February, so it's the beginning of Black History Month. And so we have had several volunteers from our community that have arranged amazing events for us to take part of, to educate ourselves throughout the month as a community. And Baji's going to tell us a little bit about where are you, Baji? Oh, she's over here. Everybody hides from me.
I know you've heard a lot of announcements today, but one that I would like to highlight is what David has mentioned about Black History Month. It's the entire month of February. If you will look right now in your bulletin and pull out, I know sometimes we have intentions to take these inserts with us and we forget. So take it out right now and put it in your pocket, your purse, and take it home so that you can refer to it. There are a number of events going on around town, and we have highlighted some of those for your convenience on this sheet. But in addition, I want to just mention 2 right at the top that are taking place here at the center. On February 13th, that's a Friday evening, for our regular movies and more, we will be showing Malcolm X. Following that movie, we're having a panel discussion with some special guests that will be participating. On the 27th, another Friday evening, we will be having a major presentation consisting of members of your community who will take on the personages of major Black history heroes and sheroes. Some of these are from the past, some are still living, but they will transform themselves into the personalities of these great people. One last point. In our teaching, which you all know, we believe that we are differentiated in our unique expressions, and you've heard many of those expressions this morning. But at the root, we are what? One. So we are not expecting only African Americans to participate and attend this event. This is for everybody. Thank you.
I love it. The books have been read. The library is closed. I love it. I love it. Any first-time visitors joining us for the very first time, please raise your hand so we can see you. Can you stand on up so we can welcome you? We've got a special gift for each of you. Welcome to all of you. What you're receiving is a It may look like we're very cheap and it's an empty CD case, but actually you redeem that at the welcome table. Give us your information and you receive one of Reverend Dr. David Alt's talks, especially selected for you. Welcome to our community. We're thrilled to have you with us. We have new member orientation next Sunday on the 1st as well. Everything's happening on Sunday the 1st. Welcome to that. If you could take this opportunity to shut off any cell phones you might have, I'd be grateful and appreciative. One went off right behind me in the last service. I was not pleased. I was not pleased. So if you could take that opportunity, it would be great. Now stand on up. Let's go ahead and get started with our declaration of principle. That's inside your program in the center on the left. I believe in one God, one absolute power and first cause to all things. I believe that this power is perfect love, and it creates out of a desire to express love. I believe that all thought is creative, and how I choose to think creates my personal experience. I believe in the unity of all life, in the immortality of the individual soul forever unfolding. I believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of God to all. Now please join us in our monthly song, I Release. Next to you and give him some love and say hello. Seriously, don't you just love that song? I mean, I am going to perform that in the mirror when I get home. I love it. I could totally just lip sync to it right now. Just love it. Well, now's the time we get ready to center ourselves a little bit, get ready for spiritual mind treatment and affirmative prayer. And to lead us as one of our newest graduates, Kathy Daniels.
Good morning. On January 25th, 2013, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. Today is my second anniversary. Through that journey, I received lots of love and support from the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta community, and I'm very grateful. My own spiritual practice strengthened me in a way I can only explain by standing in front of you now in good health. But, you know, when you're going through that, Even though you know all the right things to say and you know all of the things to do, there are times that you just get scared. And when they told me I had to have surgery, I was very scared. And I had my loving husband to be with me on the way to the hospital. But when I got to that point where he had to leave the room and they were wheeling me down the hallway to the surgery, I learned more than ever before how to surrender. And I completely surrendered. Didn't surrender my personality. I just surrendered to God. And so as I thought about today what I needed to say, because this being my anniversary day was a special day for me, I turned to 365 Days of Richer Living, which is the book we use for our class on Sunday mornings. And as it always is, there's something right there on January 25th that was most appropriate. And it says, "Let us be willing to die to the lesser in order to become resurrected to the greater. This is the true meaning of the thought that we must lose our lives in order to find them." So, as we move into the spiritual mind treatment, I ask you to remove things from your lap and sit in a relaxed position. And I know this truth. I know God is all there is. God is spirit. Everything comes from this invisible spirit. God is present in everything and in everyone. God is present in me. I cannot be separated from this spirit. I know that I am awake, I am alive, and I am aware of this indwelling spirit in me at all times. It guides me on my journey today. It has guided me through all of my journeys, and it will never leave me. And I know this is true for all of us. And I know that this God is in me, is in each one of us here. And it is all the same. This God is the light. I, as an individual, am a beam of light. And I am so grateful that today I stand here radiating my light so that all who come near me can see it, can feel it, can experience it. And I know that I experience that same light from each of you. There were many times that I felt uncertain. But I knew. When I surrendered, I knew it was all going to be okay. And it is okay. It is okay today. These are my truths. I am so grateful for this time. I am so grateful for this community. And I am so grateful for love. Love is what gets me through all of it. These are my truths. I speak them from the bottom of my heart. And together we release them and say, and so it is.
There is so much love. There is so much love. There is so much grace. There is There is so much joy.
There is so much joy
in this place.
In this place.
There are open hearts. There is peace on each face.
There is peace on each face.
Spirit's with us now.
Spirit's with us now.
In this place.
In this place.
In this place. Thank you so so much, Kathy. Happy anniversary. Happy life. It's beautiful. Honored to be with you on this walk. For his very first time, he's here with us this morning from Long Beach, California, and now a member of our community, Robert James Lopez.
Hello, good morning. So I've had a lot of change in my life recently. I moved here in October from Long Beach. I quit my corporate job. I recorded a CD. So this song reminds me that sometimes change is scary, but you know what? It's going to be okay.
You got a new kitchen.
And I got a new kitchen. My pipes exploded, and when it froze, yeah.
It's not over yet.
Lightning flares and all my cares have grown brighter than the sun. If I cannot see the loving side of me that is part of everyone, I lean into the rain. I know this pain is a lesson that I have won. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. Like clouds drifting by. This too shall pass, too shall pass. Like seasons know their time. Creation's constant and eternal, not holy or infernal. Illusions of this world shatter like glass. This too shall pass. When the stars align and I'm having the time of my life, I can do no wrong. If harmony's the only thing I see, and I know that I belong, I will remember this day. It's come to pass, not stay. I know it won't be here for long. This too shall pass. Like clouds drifting by. This too shall pass. Like seasons know their time. Creation's constant and eternal, not holy or infernal. Illusions of this world shatter like glass. And this too shall pass. This too shall pass. This too shall pass.
Thank you. Robert Lopez. Thank you so much, Robert. It's beautiful.
Thank you, Robert. Well, Long Beach is lost, Atlanta's gain. Thank you. Welcome. Our guest speaker today, Dennis Merritt Jones, has been on a quest to inspire and lift people to a higher expression of life. His personal vision is to guide people to their purpose, knowing that when one fully awakens to who they are and why they're on the planet, they begin to naturally share their gift with humankind and in the process create an enriching life for themselves and the world around them. Dennis' most recent book, Your Redefining Moments, Becoming Who You Were Born to Be, was released last year by Tarcher Penguin on May 28th. And his prior releases, The Art of Uncertainty, How to Live in Mystery of Life and Love It, and The Art of Being, 101 Ways to Practice Purpose in Your Life, have won recipients of numerous awards, including the Nautilus Award, which highlight books that offer new ideas and options for a better world for everyone. In addition to his books, Dennis is a columnist for Huffington Post and the Science of Mind magazine. I'm sure you've read him in any of those different publications. He so strongly believes that we each have the capacity and ultimately the responsibility to contribute something positive to this world, leaving it a better place than it was when we arrived. Get ready to meet a man who most certainly puts into practice daily what he preaches. Everyone welcome Reverend Dr. Dennis Merritt Jones.
Let us remove barriers. Good morning.
Good morning.
You know, before I get into my talk, I want to just acknowledge you all for having the consciousness, the collective consciousness, to created this amazing place that you call your spiritual home. You done good. Thank you. I also want to encourage you to show up. If you consider this your spiritual community, show up for your annual membership meeting that's coming in 2 weeks. Because good stewards of a spiritual community like this need to know what's going on. And don't take this place for granted, because it doesn't happen just by itself. It happens by intention, and you all stand in that intention. You know, Dr. David is probably one of the most respected and well-loved ministers in the New Thought movement. I know you know that, but it's important for me to say it so you hear it from an outside source, you know. He's my hero. Anybody who can do Kilimanjaro and the Camino, my God. But he has, well, you know all about him, so I'm not going to go into accolades too much for him. By the way, I love this guy. David has been a great host for us. Amazing. And your music, I trust you know your music department is second to none. You're very blessed. Very blessed. So my talk this morning is based on my book, The Art of Uncertainty, How to Live in the Mystery of Life and Love It. The subtitle of the book is really the essence of what I want to talk about this morning, and we'll go into more detail in it this afternoon in our workshop. But, you know, life is a mystery. It always has been. You think about this. The ultimate mystery is this: we come from the ethers of the great unknown. Isn't that a mystery, where we come from? Our soul finds its way and lands in this physical garment, this body, which is what? Nothing more than a carbon-based, biodegradable, disposable vessel that the soul rides around in, circumnavigating the human condition, gathering soul-expanding ideas and evolving itself, and at the appropriate time it ejects the body, and if the body returns to its natural elements, and the soul's nature goes back into the ethers from which it came. What's not mysterious about that? Right? But what's even more so is that from the time we get here until the time we leave, there's no less mystery. There's no less uncertainty about our lives on a daily basis. We pretend that there isn't until something pops up in front of us that pushes us to the edge of change or being called to change or to evolve in some way. And then all of a sudden things get a little scary, you know? Uncertainty affects us in every area of our lives. There's no area of your life where uncertainty doesn't exist as an opportunity to grow if you're willing to embrace it and step into it. So the question is, how do we learn to live? How do we make peace with uncertainty. Rather than resisting it or living in fear of it, embracing it and letting it be something that serves us in our personal evolution. How do we do that? It's quite easy. I'm going to give you the answer, and then we'll talk about how to step into that. The answer is to change our perception of life, of uncertainty itself, and begin to see it as an opportunity to have a mystical experience. Can you conceive of the idea of uncertainty being a mystical experience? Well, what is a mystery? Mystery. A mystic is someone who, Ernest Holmes tells us, a mystic is someone who perceives life and infinite intelligence beyond the veil of the five senses, and accesses the awareness of that infinite intelligence in such a way that he or she can actualize it and live in it and potentialize it in their daily lives. And that's an amazing place to live, you know? The reality is, we're already all mystics. Can I get a witness? We're all mystics. The question is, there's two kinds of mystics. There's optimistics, and there's pessimistics, yeah? Yeah. You know, the truth is, we were born as, when we came onto this planet, we were born as optimists. We saw through the lens of ultimate possibilities. Have you ever seen a 2-year-old exploring the boundaries, always pushing out, growing, pushing out beyond the known? And until one day we're taught that life's not a safe place. We're taught to be pessimists. We're taught to, we're told if you just stay within the bounds of what you know, color within the lines, trust me, stay within the box of the known where it's safe, and you're going to be fine. And what happens to us if we live enough years staying in the box of the known without coming to the edge and pushing out and expanding who we are, what happens when we stay in that box of the known long enough? It's like we go back and forth for years in the known, right? And what happens? It gets deeper and deeper and deeper, and it becomes a rut, right? And what is a rut? It's a grave with no ends on it. And we end up, you know what? When we live in that place, we end up enduring life rather than thriving. Are you here to thrive? Yes. Give me hands up. Yes. All right. In order to do that, we have to be willing to climb up out of the rut and step into the unknown. Come to the edge of the unknown. If you think you can learn anything or grow from within the field of what you already know, you're mistaken, because you're only going to create another version of what you already know. Yeah. And so in order to come to the edge of what we know, generally you'll notice in your life, you've come to the edge of uncertainties in your life, one of two ways. Either you were pulled by inspiration because there was just something calling you, knowing there was something more for you to go and do and be, or you were pushed by desperation. Something was pushing you, and you had to face uncertainty, but you did it through a different lens of eyes, yeah? This is nowhere obvious than when we look at nature. You know, Ernest Holmes talked about the divine imperative, or the universal, the creative divine urge, that life force that permeates every living thing, that's pushing out. And if it could grow, if it speak, it would say, I have to be more tomorrow than I was yesterday. And he also gave us the law of the universal imperative, which is take a breath, grow, or die. Living things that don't grow begin to shrivel up and die. We see this no more self-evident in nature. Nature is an amazing place to learn how to live in uncertainty, because that's what nature does. This is a true story. It's actually a story in the book. Years ago, my wife and I, we lived in an area that had opened up to the wild space where there was animals and critters behind our home. And every spring, the same family of birds, sparrows, would come and build a nest underneath our patio awning. And there was a ledge up there that they would build their nest on because it was safe and protected. And that one year, they had built the nest, laid the eggs, sat on the eggs. The chicks hatched, and it came that day when they were ready to leave the nest. And I happened to be so blessed to be standing at the bay window in the kitchen, 10 feet away, watching this happen. This is really what happened. The first chick came out of the nest, stepped out of the nest, and walked along the little ledge up on the railing of the patio cover. He's flapping his wings like this. Can you imagine these appendages? He has no idea what they're for, right? Never used them. And he comes to the edge of the railing and he looks down like this. And he looks up like this. I don't speak birdies, but if I did, I'm quite sure what he was thinking is, holy bananas, that's a long way down. Okay? It's fly or die time, right? So what he did is he continued to flap his wings and lean into the call of gravity. And I think he did the wing flapping intentionally to throw himself off balance, so he had no choice but to fall into the call of gravity. And he did. He fell into the call of gravity. And what happened? Audience participation time. He flew! Yeah? Amazing thing. He did one lap around the patio and went out and landed on an avocado tree branch out in the grove. Second bird comes out of the nest, same thing, comes to the edge, flaps his wing, looks down, falls into the call of gravity, flies a lap, goes out and lands on the avocado branch. Third bird, same thing, walks up, flaps his wing, leans over, falls in the call of gravity, one lap around, lands in the avocado grove. So there's three of them out there chirping away. And the fourth one, which is very much smaller bird, comes up to the edge, does the same thing. He's flapping his wing like this, and he looks down. And he looks like this. He turns and jumps back in the nest. It's true. It's true. And I thought, my God, how many of our children do the same thing? But he sat there for about 5 minutes, listening to his three siblings out on the orchard, chirping away. They were just I'm sure they were cheering him on. So this little guy jumps out of the nest, literally comes up to the edge and takes a flying leap. Didn't look down. He just flew. He flew. He goes out, sits with his siblings in the avocado grove on the branch. They sit there for 2 or 3 minutes, chirping away. I'm sure they were giving little birdie high fives. They were really celebrating what they had just accomplished. And then, and this is the most awesome part. I got God bumps watching it. Together in unison, they took off, flew one victory lap around the entire orchard, and were off into the ethers of to do what birds came here to do, which is to fly, to explore, to be. And I'll tell you this, the whole time that those birds came out and were standing on the ledge waiting to launch, I didn't see mother bird or dad bird around anywhere. Mother bird was not standing on the ledge, standing next to the little baby, saying, okay, honey, flap your wings, trust, say your daily affirmations, and everything's going to be fine. Just No, nowhere to be found. But this is what I know. There was something within those birds that it was imbued in the bird that knew what it was supposed to be and knew what it had to do in order to be what it came here to be. And there was something within the bird that knew how to fly, that not even the bird knew until it came to the edge and fell into the call of gravity. And I know this. Tell me if you wouldn't agree. That if an intelligence would imbue a bird with that kind of wisdom and faith, would it not also imbue that same talent and wisdom, faith, and the ability to do what we have come here to do and be? But we get stuck on the ledge. How are you breathing? Nice deep breath. We're going to talk about breathing this afternoon in our workshop. It's a very important part of life. Have you ever noticed? Try not breathing. Try it consciously. So there's 3 questions. Well, first I want to give you this. In the Tao, there's a great saying. It's a Zen saying. Move and the way will open. Move and the way will open. It doesn't say, sit there on your behind and pray and wait for the way to open. When it does, and if it's safe, then you can step through it. No. Ernest Holmes put it another way. Treat, 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 and you have a role to play. Can I get a witness? So here's 3 questions. I'm going to fire them at you pretty quickly now. This afternoon in our workshop, we're going to explore some of the concepts behind them more deeply. The first question that you can ask yourself as a litmus test is see how well you're doing at coming to the edge and seeing where in your life, it's time for you to move into what's next for you, something that's calling you to be. You live in a universe that's expanding at the speed of light. You're a microcosm of that. You're hardwired to expand. Okay? So the first question that we get to ask ourselves to see why we're not willing to stand or move beyond where we maybe feel stuck is, what role does fear play in keeping me stuck on the ledge? What role does fear play? Now, it's really important that we don't demonize fear, because fear is not our enemy. Okay? Actually, half of us in this room probably wouldn't be here today if we didn't have a little fear growing up, because we would have done stupid things, right? But the problem is, over our lifetimes, the boundary between what to fear and what not to fear has become blurred. And we've dragged a lot of stuff into our adult life based on fear that doesn't belong there, and it keeps us stuck. You know, a baby is only born with simply two fears. You know what they are, right? Falling and loud noises. And beyond that, every fear that we have is acquired. And I propose to you, that which we acquire, we can unacquire. But we have to be willing to try something new. Yeah? Have you ever heard, you've noticed that when you're facing something that's uncertain, it's kind of like a fear of darkness, where you don't know what's out there. Have you ever noticed that sometimes your mind will send a thought on advanced reconnaissance mission into the darkness? It'll come back and conjure up all kinds of reasons and report back to tell you why you shouldn't move forward? Have you ever noticed that? Have you ever heard I know you've heard the acronym for fear: false evidence appearing real, right? I got one that's got far more traction to it. You ready? Forget everything and run. Isn't that what we do when something scary pops up in front of us? If not metaphorically, literally, we run. We run to the refrigerator, the medicine cabinet, the alcohol, the liquor cabinet, the supermarket, the shopping mall. You know, there's a lot of barges, as I say, ready to depart down the river of denial on a regular basis. Okay? But the problem is, sooner or later, we have to come back to our present life. And when that happens, the fear that we're running from is sitting right there on the dock waiting for us, like a dog, saying, can we pick up where we left off? Right? So here's three aspects about fear that I want to leave you with. And again, we'll explore them this afternoon a little more. The first fact is that you can run, but you can't hide from fear. Why? It's not out there. Fear is something that arises from within because it's stimulated by something out there. So it's a reaction to something. So to live consciously, to live mindfully, to be present in the moment, we learn how to be proactive to what pops up in front of us rather than reactive to it. It's hugely empowering. Hugely empowering. The second reality is that fear can be one of your greatest teachers if you're willing to embrace it rather than run from it. Hold it close. In the East, they say you have to learn how to dance with your demons. Hold that fear close to you, whisper in its ear, and see it as a teacher and say, oh, master teacher of the moment, I'm listening. Teach me what I need to know about you so I can then transcend you and get on with the business of being who I came here to be. Powerful practice. Again, we'll talk about this afternoon. The third touchstone about fear is this, and this is a tough one, but it's a reality. All fear is attached to a concern of death. All fear is attached to a concern of loss, if you want to think of it that way. Okay? Could be the obvious concern of loss of your life, loss of a loved one. How about this? Maybe it's the concern of the death of a relationship. The death of a lifestyle, the death of a career, the death of a reputation, a title. We go on and on and on with the things that we cling to that we think define us. Okay? And at the moment that we give ourselves permission to step beyond the ideas that we have to be limited by our labels, we step into a whole new sense of freedom. Whole new sense of freedom. There's there's a great, well, I'm not going to give you the poem. I'll give you the poem this afternoon. The second question that we can learn to ask ourselves on a daily basis to find what it takes to come to the edge of our uncertainties and lean over into the mystery and do it with faith and confidence. The question is this: what do I need to let go of? Because most of us probably walked into this room today clinging, grasping something. Okay? What do I need to let go of in order to move forward? What do I need to let go of? And the fact is, if you may know what that is, and then again, you may not know. You may just feel a sense of being stuck, but not knowing what it is you need to release in order to go forward. Here's one of the practices that will really help you in understanding what that is if you're willing to be mindful and do it. And the practice is to listen to the stories that you tell. You know what I mean by stories? The things that you continually repeat in your head over and over and over again, and perhaps to those people in your life that you continue to tell the same thing to over and over and over and over again. The truth is that the people in our lives, if you're willing to ask them, what stories do you hear me telling? If you're willing to and brave enough to ask the question, give them permission to tell you, you may discover what it is that you need to let go of. Oftentimes the story is attached to something in the past, like he did, she did, they did me wrong. Sometimes it's a story that projects us into the future. Oh my God, look at the economy, look at the possibilities of blah, blah, blah. But it's something that puts us either in the past or the future. One of the ways that we can deepen our understanding of what it looks like to tell our stories is to understand that it's not always the negative stories that are the problem. Sometimes it's the great stories in our life that we need to let go of. Anybody here stuck in the 60s? Regarding this, there's a story in the book about a man named Stan. This is a true story. That he came to me one day, and he was sad. He was so sad. He said, I need help. This is 30 years ago. I had first become a minister. And he said, I've been widowed now for 5 years. My beloved wife died 5 years ago. And I finally have arrived at a point where I think, he's 90 years old, okay? I'm ready to get back in the game. That's an optimist, okay? but he says, I'm ready. I have more good miles in me, and I want to share it with somebody, and I'm ready to get back in the game of life. And I have no problems getting dates. He was a dapper little guy. He had a cap and a sports cap, and he was cute. And he said, I have no trouble getting dates, but the ladies that I date won't see me more than once or twice. And he said, would you please come to my house? I'll make you dinner and let's talk about this. So I did. And I got to his house and we were having dinner. And immediately he began to talk about his wife. Okay? All about his wife. I looked around the home. Every wall had pictures of his wife. Huh? I looked in the closet. There were her clothes hanging in the closet. He still wore a wedding band. And none of these things are bad. But I pointed out, I said, Stan, these are all beautiful things. But you have to understand something. You're telling the universe that you have no room for a new relationship. You must learn, as good as this was, to let it go. And make no mistake about it, the ladies that you're seeing get it real quick, that you're not available. So we did some prayer work that night. And about 2 months later, I met him walking through the supermarket with his fiancée on his arm. It's true. Yeah, 2 months is not a long, time to get, but they were ready to get married. So I guess at 90 years old, do it while you got. make hay while the sun shines, I guess. So, my point is this: is that sometimes, we get stuck in the labels that we wear, and sometimes our attachments to the past, even if it's good, keep us stuck. And sometimes the labels that we wear are attached to the past. And maybe it's not about asking, and by the way, my book, Your Redefining Moments, is about learning how to discern what those labels are and to step back into the authentic self you came here to be. But sometimes the question we have to ask ourselves is not who am I, but who am I not? Maybe I'm not who my experiences in the past told me I was, or my mom or dad, or the minister, or the YMCA counselor, or my teachers told me I was. Maybe I'm something far more than that. Yeah. And in that being willing to dance with those three questions that I gave you, you'll be able to discern what it is you need to let go of in order to move into what's next for you, into the great yet to be, that which is yet to be for you. In the Tao Te Ching, there's a great saying. Really receive this in your heart because it's profound, simple but profound. When I let go of what I am, I become what I can be. When I let go of what I have, I receive what I need. Take a nice deep breath. Isn't it wonderful? The gift of breath. It leads us to the third question. And the third question that we can ask ourselves on a daily basis to discern what we need to do in order to come to the edge of that which is next for us and step into it with grace and ease. And here's the question we get to ask ourselves. Do I take time daily to contemplate the gift that has been given to me? And am I honoring the giver of the gift by how I am unfolding, evolving, expanding my being? Of course, the gift is what? Life itself. Yeah, life itself. You know, life is such a precious pearl of great price. And yet, we take it for granted. Take another deep breath. Now consider this, and you can release it. The very first thing that you did when you got to this planet was to take a breath in. And the very last thing you'll do when you leave this planet is to breathe out. And what's most important is the conscious awareness of the breaths you take between those 2 points, because they bring you, when you do it consciously, into the present moment. And guess what, my friends? That is where life is waiting for you to show up. And that's the essence of our workshop this afternoon. And this will lead us to self-inquiry. If we're willing to ask these questions to ourselves, we'll enter into conscious, intentional self-inquiry on a daily basis. In the East, the Indians give us the mystery of the 3 miracles. And I'm going to kind of wrap it up with this. The mystery of the 3 miracles. This is about conscious, intentional self-inquiry. The first miracle is to contemplate. The miracle is that anything exists. Think about that. When's the last time you just sat out, looked up at the stars, and sat there and realized, this is an amazing thing that life is, that anything exists. If you want to do that as a mindfulness practice with intention, it'll really expand your sense of being. The second miracle is that living things exist. Think about that. Living things exist. Puppies, roses, trees. Living things that have life force in them, pushing out, expanding. If life could talk, it would say, I've got to be more tomorrow than I was yesterday. And it's permeated within us. Living things that exist. That just to live in all of that, and that life force that knows what to do and how to evolve itself is there. And the third miracle is, and this is really the most profound one, living things exist that know they exist. Self-awareness. That is you. That is me. And when we live mindfully, consciously, in the practicing the awareness of presence, becoming the observer of ourselves and life in a conscious manner, it changes our entire experience on this planet. And that's the point when we bring our being, capital B, into our doing. We bring the sacred self of who we are, the authentic self, into our daily lives of our doing. And at that point where those 2 things merge, what happens is all of a sudden you'll discover that life ceases to have the experience of uncertainty. Why? because you're incorporating the presence, capital P, in the moment. And the universe knows nothing about uncertainty. Uncertainty is a man-made myth. Okay? Now, that does not mean that the mystery ends, because you're living in a universe that's expanding at the speed of light, and even it not knows where it's going. But you'll live in such an awareness of your oneness with it that you'll trust the process that you're where you're supposed to be when you're willing to step to the edge, and trust that life force, that infinite intelligence that puts you here. That's when you'll know you're on purpose. That's when you'll know that your life on this planet is on purpose, and you're creating a life of purpose and meaning. And I close with this. Richard Bach, in his great book, Illusions, gave us a test. He said, here's the test to know if your life on the planet Earth is complete. If you're alive, it's not. Put your hand on or take a pulse. Are you alive? Shake the person next to you. Are you alive? That means you've got more to do. I close with a great thought by the French mystic, poem, public pundit of social consciousness, Guillaume Apollinaire. Come to the edge, he said. They said, no, we're afraid. Come to the edge, he said. They came. He pushed them. They flew. Come to the edge. There is more for you to do. There's more for you to be. And you'll never get it by staying in the center of your box. I'll see you this afternoon where we'll explore these ideas in much more depth. I love you, and I appreciate you, and I honor you. Namaste. Thank you.
We are going to do the seminar at 1:30 right in this very room. So if you want to quickly go and get something to eat and then come on back, please do so. But is there anything else you want to tease it with?
Yeah, the class this afternoon is entitled Practicing the Power of Presence. And it's about learning to incorporate the idea that your life is a spiritual experience waiting for you to happen. Okay? And what is it? We're going to be doing mindfulness practice. I'm going to give you tools to work with it. You can bring the awareness of your spiritual nature into every moment of your life. From the moment you get up in the morning till the time you go to bed at night. It's a sacred experience. And it's a free will offering this afternoon, too.
Yeah, that's the thing. I want to thank you for that graciously. He is offering this seminar as a love offering. So there's no set fee for up front, but whatever you can give, we generously appreciate it. It all goes to Dennis. So join us again, 1:30.
No, we're splitting that with you guys, aren't we?
Oh, no, it's all you.
Oh, wow. Well, then you got to come.
It's all you.
I will split. We always give back to the source that we play with, and I'm playing with you guys today. So, last thing, there's some cards in some of your chairs. If you'd like to receive one of my weekly e-messages, my gift to you, just fill that out and turn it in at the book table. I'll be out in the lobby signing books. I'd be honored to inscribe one for you personally. Thank you again.
Thank you. As we prepare for Grateful Giving, this is when David peers out and finds a victim and brings you up to do something. So I'm going to do that as well. Rick Carter, come on up. You're hiding in the corner. Thought you could hide from me. If you could lead us in Grateful Giving, I'd be so grateful.
Do I need to say anything special?
Yeah, well, you can say something special, and then you can say that.
Oh, okay. Hello, everybody. I'm Rick Carter. Welcome. I just want to say how thankful I am and just to be here and see everybody here and share in this moment of grateful giving. So let me say by saying this, we all say this together. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow. All that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly, and so it is.
Please welcome again Robert Lopez and John Jones. It's on. It'll be on. Give it a second.
Hello?
There you go.
Just wanted to say thank you again to Penelope for inviting me here. It's been a wonderful experience. And I joined the choir when I came here, so
There you go. And
to
look at
follow
him
up
now.
on her. I know, look at me now. But it's a very warm and welcoming, and you know what? If you're scared or whatever, just come do it anyway. It's all God, it's all good. It all happens as it should. When I take 2 steps forward and 1 step back, I'm 1 step further than I started at. It's all God, it's all good. I wouldn't change it if I could. If the path had taken me a different way, I wouldn't be the person that you see today. It's all God. Yeah. And it's all good. It's all God, it's all God, it's all God, it's all God, it's all good. It's all God, it's all God, it's all God, it's all God, it's all good. Everything I see, this reality, it's a mystery, and it's all for me. It's all God, it's all God, it's all God, it's all God, it's all good. It's all God, it's all good. There's only love in my hood. One day I stopped fighting and opened my eyes, and since then I've come to realize it's all God, it's all good. Nothing else to be that it could. If I think that things aren't going my way, I take a lesson and create a brand new day. It's all God. Oh yeah. And it's all good. It's all God, it's all God, it's all God, it's all God, it's all good. It's all God, it's all God, it's all God, it's all God, it's all good. Everything I see, this reality, it's a mystery, and it's all for me. It's all God, it's all God, it's all God, it's all God, it's all good. It's all God, it's all good. Sometimes you gotta step back to see what would be the right way to go, but I know that it's all good, all good, all good. Uh-oh. Come on now. Now we'll try a little bit faster. No, I ain't talking about a master. I am in it, it's in me, so how could there be anything but harmony? Sometimes it might look like disaster. This ain't something that I asked for, but in time I always see it really was meant just for me. It's all God. It's all good. Everything I see, this reality, for God, it's all God, it's all good. Ain't no such thing as last chances. I know all my advances come to me as I believe, and what I see is possibility. God's in all of my finance. I'm a channel of abundance. I give and take, circulate. Then I give thanks and celebrate. It's all God. It's all good. It's a mystery, and it's all for me. It's all God, it's all God, it's all good. It's all God, it's all God, it's all good. It's all God, it's all God, it's all good. It's all God.
Robert Lopez.
Woo!
Thank you.
That's rap-tastic. I love it. We got our own rap stuff going on at SLCA. Who knew? Love it. Everybody, get on your feet. Practitioners, come on up. If you are looking for someone to give you spiritual mind treatment, who can work with you to remind you of all that is good in this world, these beautiful people are here for you. Please seek them out. We'll close with our song, I Am So Blessed. But again, 1:30. If we need to start a little bit late because you need to get something to eat, we'll hold on for a few more minutes. But come on back.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed.
everybody. See you this afternoon.